Welcome students. In this video, we will be discussing about object-oriented programming, the very first part 1. Here in object-oriented programming, in this present video, we will be discussing about what is class, what is attributes, what is behavior, and what is objects. So these are the 4 topics that we are going to discuss now. Okay, what they are generally about, and also a demo also we will be discussing. Okay, fine. So coming to before speaking about class, attributes, behaviors, objects. First of all, what this name object oriented programming is like it conveying. Object oriented programming. Everything in this real world is actually an object. Okay, everything here in the real life is an object. For example, a computer, television, a house, car, bike, everything that you see, everything that you use, everything around you, including you, is an object in this real life, real time. For example, let us take a car. Car is actually a class. Taking an object called as car, or take an object, for example, take human itself. Every human will have certain attributes. Every human will have certain behaviors. Now let us define what is attribute, what is behavior. So class, every object that I'm naming it as every object in the real life. Okay, everything that is around you is a object. So television, computer, bike, car, house, everything is object. So what I generally compare class with this, class can be compared to a noun actually. It's a noun. Okay, class can be compared to a noun. Okay, so house, noun, car, noun, a human. Okay, so every object is, I'm comparing it with a noun. Attribute. If you take human will have certain attributes. What are attributes? A human's height, a human's weight, his color. Okay, so all these things are like attributes. So attributes are information that extra defines about a class. Attributes are something that defines more about the class. So when something defines more about a noun, what you call? A human is a noun. When human is a noun, if you try to define his color, is like color, then his height, then his weight. If you try to define all these things, what can it be called as? Adjectives. So attributes are compared to adjectives of a noun. Adjectives of a noun. Then coming to behaviors. Every human being will have a few behaviors, like the speaking style, running, walking. Walk is a behavior. Okay, so speaking. Okay, so there are a lot of behaviors that a human will have. Okay, eating, sleeping, walking, running, all these the things are behavior. Running, walking, or speaking, sleeping, what are they called as? They are called as actions, right? Actions performed by a human. Actions performed by a noun. What you call actions performed by a noun? They are called as verb. So behaviors are compared to verb of a noun, verb that a noun will do. Okay, let me come to objects later, but a class is a noun. Attributes are adjectives. Behaviors are verbs performed by noun. Okay, for example, let me take a small example. We will take a rectangle. We will take a rectangle. So rectangle here is going to be the class, noun. Okay, so rectangle is a class that I'm going to take. Rectangle. what are all the attributes of noun? The attributes of rectangle. Attributes are like adjectives. It should define more about a noun. So what are all the data that defines more about rectangle? I think rectangle can be defined more with the help of length and breadth, because using length and breadth, each and every rectangle is defined with the help of length and breadth only. So length and breadth. Okay, so for example, I can take a length. 1 minute. Okay, for example, length, and then the next thing is actually breadth. So length and breadth are the two attributes that define more about the class. So rectangle is a noun, length and breadth are the attributes. And what are all the behaviors of rectangle? Behaviors are area, finding an area, and the perimeter. Both these things acts as a verb. Both things are going to act as a behavior. So which one is going to behavior? Behaviors is area and perimeter. This is a small example that I want to put forward. Okay, so a class is actually a combination of attributes and behaviors. A class is a combination of attributes and behavior of a particular noun. We'll speak about object later. But first of all, what we're going to do is we're going to define. We're going to take, for example, we will take like editor. Okay, we will go for a demo, because when we like start implementing, then you get a better idea of what should be done. What is exactly what is exactly class, what is exactly attributes, and what is exactly like behaviors. We will go step by step. So first of all, we will just create a doc file, and this file I'm going to, for example, we're going to take car as an example. We're going to take car. Car is also a object. So let me save car.java. Car.java. So car.java, see, automatically public class car is already taken. Okay, the reason why I'm writing public is I'm going to write one more Java file inside which I'm going to define one more class, and if I want to access this class outside this file, definitely I want the access specifier to be public. If it is private, then this class cannot be accessed anywhere outside the document. Okay, so that's the reason why I'm just writing public. We will learn more about public and private access specifiers. Okay, but before that, I want to tell you that what is the class actually. What is a class? A class is a combination of attributes and behavior. Attributes and behaviors. Okay, and for you to understand it in a better way, I just will compare attributes equal to variables that you have already learned. Then behaviors are equal to methods. So attribute will remain as a variable, a behavior will act as a method. I'll show you example. Taking a car is actually a noun. Car is actually a noun. You can say car is a noun. It is one of the object in a real life example. Now we are going to take 5 different attributes of a car. First one, number of doors available in the car. Number 2, number of wheels. Okay, number of door will define more about car. Number of wheels will also define more about car. Okay, so let me take, but with a public access name, but with the access specifier only I'm going to take it, either with public or as private. We will differentiate, but I am going to take it as a private access specifier. I'll explain more about this private. What will happen if you give private? What will happen when you give public? We'll see the difference. Okay, fine. So I'm going to take private as the access specifier followed by integer. So not only for class, even for attributes, and as well as for methods, for class, for attributes, and for like for methods. For all the three components, you can specify a access specifier, either public or private. So private int, then followed by name of the attribute. Name of the attribute is doors. So what is this? It is a variable, but we are using this variable to define an attribute of car. So that's why we call it as an attribute. It is a variable in terms of syntax, but we use this variable to define one of the attribute of class car. So that's the reason why I'm calling it as an attribute. Okay, so private int doors. So this is first of all, one attribute that I wanted. Next one. Let us take the second one, private integer data type, and the name of this is wheels. Name of the attribute is wheels. Okay, so wheels is total number of wheels. So it also defines one of the attribute of car. Okay, fine. So private int doors and private int wheels, two attributes. Next one is model name. Model name, private string. Okay, private string model. Okay, private string model. Okay, then private string engine. Private string engine. The next one, private string color. Private string color. So we have taken 5 attribute. One is total number of doors available. Okay, first one is total number of doors available in a car. Doors available in a car. Next one, wheels. Okay, so total number of wheels available in a car. So it defines total wheels, okay, available, total number of wheels. Okay, it's total number of wheels available in a car. Okay, available in a car. Next one, model. It says a model name. Okay, model name. Okay, fine. Because for example, when you take when you take Maruti Suzuki, there are different models that are released by Maruti Suzuki. Okay, fine. So model name, then comes the engine. So engine model. Okay, so this is engine name, what kind of engine it is. Then the color of the car is also one of the attribute. Okay, so these are the 5 attributes that we are going to define for this class called as car. Now after saving this, let me take a new file, and this is going to be main.java. Okay, so let me save this as main. I think already there exists a main.java file, so we'll take main vehicle. Okay, or we'll take main vehicle.java. Okay, main vehicle .java. Okay, so this is main vehicle.java, and inside which this is also one of the class. Here car is also one of the class. Every class can have attribute as well as it can behavior, which means it can have variables as well as it can also have methods. That's applicable for every class. So here, coming to this main vehicle, what I'm doing is I'm going to write up main method for it. Here we don't have any main method. It is not compulsory that a particular class should always have a main method. It's like an entry point. Okay, main method is like an entry point. If you are not directly going to execute this file, then no need of main method. Okay, so let me come here to main vehicle and let me define a public static void main followed by string args. So this usually we know, right? Fine. So now inside this method, inside this method, what I'm going to do is, now it is time for us to understand what is object. So here we understood what is a class. We now have a clear understanding of what is attributes, and also we have a clear understanding of what is behaviors. Now it is time for us to understand what is object of a class. See, what you have done is that you have created a blueprint. A class is a blueprint of a noun. You have created a blueprint of class car, that how a car should be. What are all the attributes that should be there for a car? What are all the behavior that a car should have? So you have defined a blueprint of for a car. Now when you have a blueprint of a car, and when you want to manufacture multiple cars, like 1,000 cars or 2,000 cars, do I want to separately define for every car? Do I want to separately define how each and every car, 1,000 car has to be separately? No need of doing it. You no need to define for each and every car separately what should be its attributes and what should be its behavior. No need of doing it. So if you want to manufacture 1,000 cars using this blueprint, each and every car that you're going to manufacture is going to act as an object. So using this blueprint, if you want to create a car, one car, if you want to create separately, this is just a template. This is not a car. This is just a template of how a car should be. So with all the information that how a car should be, we are going to create a car. For example, this is like a pen and paper. You have written how a car should be. If you want to manufacture it separately, physical car you have to generate, you have to manufacture, then with the help of this blueprint you can do it. This blueprint, what you will do, you will give it to the machines. This blueprint you will give it to the machine. Machine taking this blueprint will automatically generate a or manufacture a physical car. So creation of that car, right? Creation of separate. So if you want to create 1 lakh cars, then creation of that 1 lakh cars, each and every car is an object. So one time if you create an object, it will create 1 car. 2 times if you create object, 2 times if you create object, 2 cars you will be creating. So how many cars you want, you can create that many number of cars accordingly. So objects are instances of a class. Okay, the general definition of objects are the instances of a class. Okay, fine. So now let us try to create few cars with the help of the blueprint that we have. With the help of the blueprint we have, let us try to create few cars. The first car that I am going to create is the first car. Let me create Porsche. So to create an object, first of all, you have to specify the name of the car. Name of that particular class. You have to specify the name of that class. It is car. So car space, let me mention Porsche. Porsche is the first car that I'm going to see here. Porsche is a car. Okay. So Porsche is the first car that I'm going to create the object for. So you want the name of the class to be specified, and you should place a name for the object that you create equal to create an object. Then the very first important thing is a keyword called as new, because whenever you create an object, it is going to take some amount of memory. It is going to occupy certain amount of memory. For allocating those memory, this new keyword will be responsible for it, because inside the class car we have several variables and several functions also will be there. For these variables to be stored, when we want to create a block for these variables, how blocks will be created, memory blocks will be created for these attributes. Memory blocks for these attributes will be created, which will be allocated with the help of this new keyword. So while creating an object, it will go to class, it will look into how many numbers of attributes, and for every attribute the memory will be allocated now itself at the time of object creation. At the time of object creation. So followed by new, I want to again specify the name of the class and followed by a parenthesis. Okay, now see, this parenthesis will be required in the, after this, like when we enter into constructors, then we will require this parenthesis, very important part, but still we have not learned what is constructor, which we will learn in the next part. Okay, so now the general method of how to create an object is specify the name of the class. Specify the name of the class followed by a name of the object that you want to. You can give your own object name, and then followed by equal to a new keyword for allocating memory, for creating memory blocks for all the attributes, and then followed by again the car name followed by a parenthesis. This car parenthesis will tell this new keyword to go and look into the car class to find how much memory blocks are required to be allocated. Okay, now memory blocks are allocated for this particular class. Okay, particular car. Now I'm going to create one more car. I'm not going to stop with one car, because for creating multiple instances of a car only, we are introducing the concept of object. So we will just take car, again car, and let me mention Holden. Holden is the next car that I'm going to take. So Porsche followed by Holden equal to, I'm going to take new and then followed by car. Okay, this is the procedure of creating a object. Now, with the help of object, what can be done? With the help of the object that we created now, all the attributes and methods inside the class. All the attributes and methods inside the class can be accessed with the help of this attribute, with this object Porsche. So let me mention, first of all, let me write Porsche is a car, Porsche dot. What is this you are having? You have equals, get class, hash code, notify. All these things are methods which can be applied for any general object. These are the methods available for every object. These are not the methods that we have specified. Okay, you can ask me, if I want to access attributes of car class, all the attributes, doors, wheels, model, engine, color also should display here in the drop down, right? It also should display here in the drop down, but it is not getting displayed. It is not getting displayed. The reason is they are all private attributes. Private attribute means these attributes cannot be accessed outside the class. It cannot be accessed. So we are restricting it for some security purpose. This is where security is coming. So we are not allowing these attributes to be accessible for the outer world. Only inside the class, inside this particular class, it is available. For example, if I want that particular attribute to be also accessible outside the class, instead of private, let me specify access specifier called as public. Now let me save it, and now let me come here to this class, and now let me give dot. Can you able to see that model attribute here? We are able to see here in the drop down, because it became public. Because model attribute become public. When it is public, it is actually accessible outside to the outside world also. Outside that particular class also, that attribute is accessible. So that's why we get that in this drop down. So we will access it. Porsche.model. Okay. So for Porsche car, only for Porsche car, what I'm doing, I'm setting this model attribute to, let me set it to Carrera. Okay, it's the name of the model. So Carrera. Fine. Okay, I just accessed it. Now what I will do is, after doing this, after creating an object for Porsche, after creating an object for Porsche, after creating an object called as Porsche, with the help of the object, I am accessing the attribute model and assigning a value Carrera. Now let us check whether it is, it is actually working or not. We'll just check whether it is working or not. Okay, 1 minute. Okay, so we will try to print it and check system.out.println or .println of, we will try to print Porsche dot model, because now for the object Porsche, for the car Porsche, we have set the model name to Carrera, and we will check whether it is reflecting there. Okay, so now printing Porsche dot model, it should print the value Carrera. So we will just check it. So let me click on here, run, and check what it is going to like print us. Can you able to see it here? Can you able to see here? So you executing main vehicle class, the main method, and it is just printing Carrera, which is absolutely working fine. So all the process that we have done so far is working perfectly, right? But I wanted to tell you that this is not the right way of accessing a attribute of a particular class. This is not the right way of assigning a value to an attribute of another class, and this is not the right way of accessing it and just printing it also. Here you are assigning a value, here you are setting a value, and here you are getting the value again. Setting and getting. So setting a value and getting a value are two important actions that you're going to perform for every attribute. For every attribute, you can either set a value, or if you already set the value, you will be getting it back, accessing it back. So in object oriented programming, there is two important concepts that have been added, two different methods. One is setter method. The other one is getter method. What is this setter and getter method? Setter method is actually used to assign a particular value to a particular attribute. Getter method is used to access the value of a particular attribute, to get the value. One is to set, the other one is to get. So the reason is, first of all, let me change this public access specifier to private, because this attribute, any of the attribute, what we are doing, we are not going to make it accessible outside the world, to ensure that it is secure. The values of these attributes are not changed by the outer world. It can be only changed by the programmer who is programming it. Okay, only the admin can be changing it, not all the users who are using it outside the world, outside of the class. So we are going to define two method. And the first method, what we are going to do is we are going to write it with a public, because we are giving public access specifier. The reason, we are going to access this particular method outside here. In this class, we will be calling that method. So when you want to make a method accessible outside the particular class, then you should give access specifier as public. When you give it as private, then it cannot be accessed outside the class. So public, then it is not going to be, always setter will not return anything. The job of a setter is to only initialize a value, set a value. So return type, let me specify as void. No need of static here. We will later learn about why there is no static wanted here. What is the purpose of static? All we will learn later. Okay, all we will learn later. Okay, so now public void. So public void, and then the return type void, and the name that I'm going to specify is set. Okay, I'm going to write set, and the name I'm going to specify is set model. So setter. So set, we are going to set the name of, this is up to you, whatever name that you're giving, but set, it is the, this is usually the standard of the name that you give to a setter method. Set keyword, not keywords, it's a set word followed by the name of the attribute, with it starting in uppercase, because we are using camel case. Okay, we are using camel case here, right? So set model. So coming to the set model method, what is the argument? Because for setting model, you want actually a value, right? You want a value to set. So that value will be received as an argument. So model is actually a string attribute. So string, and we are just providing a attribute called as argument called as model. So this method will receive a model string, model name as an argument, and it has to assign it. It has to assign that value or set that value to the attribute called as model. But let me tell you one thing. There are two kinds of attribute. One kind of attribute is class attribute. Okay, so let me tell you, one kind of attribute is class attribute. Class attribute. The next kind of attribute is instance attribute. Okay, it's like instance or method attribute. Okay, I'll tell you what is this instance attribute. Okay, see, class attributes are attributes for which the value of the attribute will not change. It will remain the same. It will remain the same for all the objects. For example, when you take car and you create thousands of objects for the car. If any attribute that will not change for any of the object, any attribute, if it is not going to change for any of the object, then that kind of attribute that is not going to change with respect to object is called as class attribute. It is common to a class. That value will not change for every object. But there is something called as instance attribute, which will keep on changing. Because, like, for example, take one of the things like the color of every car is not going to be the same. Color of every car will not be the same. It will change. So that changing attribute is what, when a certain attribute value, if it will change with respect to object, for every object, if the value is going to be different, then that attributes are defined as instance attribute. Now, model will differ for every object. Am I right or wrong? Model will differ for every object. So this model has to be a instance attribute which will change for every object. So it should be associated with the object. It should be associated with the object. Okay. So now I'll just come here. Before writing the piece of code inside this method, I'll come here to main vehicle. Here in the main vehicle, let me call Porsche object dot. What is the public method that we have specified here? It is set model. So let me see here. There is a method called a set model. And what you are going to pass here? I am going to pass here Carrera. Okay, Carrera is one of the model of Porsche. Okay. Now what you are doing? You are calling the method. You are calling the method of that class car with the help of the object Porsche. So you are calling it with Porsche, right? So you have to specify this model name only for the object Porsche, not for any other object. How can I assign this Carrera value only for Porsche object? Only Porsche object model. How can it be done? This Porsche also, see, when you call this, I will tell you how this will be. I will tell you how this will be working in the background. I'll tell you how this will be working in the background. 1 minute. Okay. So this line will be interpreted. I'll tell you how it is done. First of all, when you write a statement like object name dot a method and a argument. So what will happen? See, automatically this will be converted to what is the name of the class that this object Porsche belongs to. It belongs to a class car. So car dot, so car class. In car class, I'm going to call the function set model, and what will be done? You will be passing a function Carrera, and also this object name Porsche. this object name parse will be sent as a attribute called as, it will be sent with the help of a argument called as this. So there is a default argument called as this for every method when you call it with the help of an object. So when you call a method with the help of an object, then definitely this particular argument called this will be there indirectly, which is not seen out of. So what I need to do? Parse dot model. Instead of accessing parse dot model, I can access this dot model, because this parse object is sent instead of this, using with the help of this argument called as this. Might be confusing, this argument called as this. Okay, parse object called as parse will be sent to the keyword this, to the argument this. Okay, so now hereafter, if you call parse also same, if you call this also same, and this keyword, okay, sorry, this argument is not accessible in this class. It is accessible only in the class where this particular method is available, set model. So what will have to happen? You enter here, inside this method you will be able to access the argument this, and this will refer to the object through which you are calling the particular method. So if you are calling it with parse, then this refers to parse, then this refers to parse. If you are calling it with holden, then this refers to holden. So this and the object name that using which you are calling the method, both are same. So now what I need to do? I need to set the model value only for parse. So this dot model only for parse. Now what is this? What is this? It is parse. So you, instead of writing parse, instead of writing parse, if I write parse, it is like static, because when you're calling that method, you can either call it using any of the object. I cannot like statically define parse, holden every time. Instead of that, we having a dynamic, kind of things like this. This is a dynamic argument which will take whatever object is, through whatever object the method is getting called. When you call it using parse, parse will be, this will refer to parse. When you call it using holden, this will refer to holden. Okay, fine. So now this dot model means it is equal to parse dot model, and what we are doing, parse dot model is equal to Carrera. That's it. So instead of accessing an attribute directly inside the another class and printing it, also accessing it, so setting and getting, instead of doing it externally inside another class, what we are doing, we are not directly allowing a particular attribute to be available outside the class. Instead, we are having a method called a set model to assign a value to a particular attribute. So okay, for setting this is okay. For getting, what you will do? For getting, what I will be doing, I'll be specifying one more method called as public, but this have to return, because we're going to get. So this method has to return the string, because the data type of model is string. So public string, and it is get model. It is get model. Is there any argument? No argument, because by default when you call this method, this keyword will be coming. So what this keyword will be doing, it will be receiving the reference of the object through which the method is getting called. So whichever method we are calling get method, that object dot model we should be accessing, and we will be returning it back. So return this dot model. Okay, so through whichever object we are calling this get model, for that model, whatever is the value of model, okay, for that particular object, whatever is the value of model will be returned. For example, if you call get model with the help of parse object, then whatever is the value of model for parse object will be returned. If you call the same method with the help of holden object, then the value of model in holden object will be returned back. Okay, now here what we can do, what we will do is we will just take a string. Okay, we'll take string and we will take a variable called as model name. We'll take a variable model name equal to, we will call parse. Okay, we will call parse dot get model. And when you call get model, what will happen? This parse, the name of this object parse, it will be sent here to this keyword. So this will be referring to parse. So what is parse dot model? Parse dot model, already we set it to Carrera. We already set it to, see, it's not directly Carrera. It is, see, it's not directly Carrera. We should be passing here model name, right? We forgot it. Yes. This, see, this dot model is the attribute here, attribute name model. But here the argument model is different. Argument model is the argument that you're sending here. This Carrera is the argument that you're sending. So it is like static, right? For any object, if you call, it will be setting it to Carrera. That should not happen like that. For every object, whatever is the argument that we are passing, that should become the model name. So I will be assigning equal to model. Don't confuse yourself. Right side model is the argument, left side model is the attribute. Both can have the same name because this is like a local variable, but this is not local. This is the instance attribute. Okay, so both same name, but this is this dot model, right? This is not normally only model alone. It is this dot model. Okay, so fine. So this should be done actually. So let me save it now. Let me save it. And now what I can just simply do is we can just come here, and what we have done here, we called parse dot get model. So the model name for parse object will be written, and that will be now stored in the variable model name. And with the help of system.out.println, we will be printing model name. Okay, the variable in which the model name of parse will be stored. Model name for parse will be stored. Okay, fine. So now let me just save it and let me execute and check whether everything is working properly. Whether Carrera is sent there to the class and Carrera is being set to the model attribute, and again using get method whether we are able to access it back. So we will just check it. So let me execute it by clicking on run, and then we will just check it. Yes, Carrera is getting printed. Suppose let me change it and check once. Instead of Carrera, let me send Commodore. Okay, so it's Commodore. Yeah, it's next model of Porsche. It's Commodore. Right, so now let us again execute and check whether Commodore is getting printed. Yes, it's getting printed. So whatever argument value that you're sending, that value will be set for that particular attribute. That too specifically for a particular object also. That object is referred by keyword this. So same method called using parse, this keyword will refer to parse. Same method called with Holden, this keyword will points to Holden. If it is called with a different object, then this will refer to that different object through which you are calling this method. Right? Fine. So this is it for this session actually. In the next lecture, we will just continue with like we know, like I told that there are two kinds of attribute like class and instance. We saw instance attribute, how class attribute can be done. Okay, setter getter we understand, and private and public difference also we understood it in the basic level. Okay, and also we created two different class files, two different Java files, and we were accessing one class of another file in the other class. So all these things are actually have like we understood what is class. So we'll have an overview of what we have done so far. In object oriented programming, we learned what is a class, we learned what is an attribute, we understood what is behaviors, and also we understood what are objects. We took few examples, we understood each and everything, and we took a demo, and also we successfully implemented it with a class, with an object, with attribute, and also with method. Hereafter we need to get very deep into each and everything, all in and out about class, all in and out about attributes, all in and out about methods and then objects. So each and everything that we are going to see separately hereafter, and we're going to understand it in the deeper level. So the basic outer view that I have given you, overview of what is object oriented programming, what is class, what are attributes, what are methods, and what are objects. Yes, fine. So we'll meet in the next video. Thank you, students.